Football fans getting a first look tonight at exclusive Super Bowl merchandise, all part of the build-up to game day in Las Vegas. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. It could be the most expensive Super Bowl ever, with ticket prices and room rates breaking records, and Vegas potentially could see some record-setting crowds. Analysts are expecting as many as 450,000 visitors will arrive in town for Super Bowl 58, which would top last year's record-setting Formula One racing crowds. Here's a live look tonight at the world-famous Welcome to Las Vegas sign. Just one spot that's expected to be very busy in the run-up to game day on February 11th. Tonight, Fox 5's Kim Passoff shows us how the city is hoping to put on a show for football fans, even if they don't have tickets to the game.
The teams are set, and the stage is being set too. The entire stretch of Las Vegas Boulevard in front of the Bellagio fountains now in the process of being transformed into a television set for Super Bowl broadcasting. Every pedestrian bridge over the Strip is also getting a new look, and giant decals added to the plexiglass. The pillar of this bridge, wrapped in NFL logos with a gigantic slot machine lever and goalpost added. Signs of the Super Bowl are now everywhere on this Strip, including these giant Roman numerals and a great photo op right in front of Caesar's Palace. All along the Strip, there's a lot of traffic as cones block lanes and setup and construction continues. At the Sphere, a welcoming message for the Super Bowl teams on the Exosphere screen. At Allegiant, the parking lot has been transformed into a tent town. Security stationed around the stadium around the clock. The bridge from the Strip in Mandalay Bay to the stadium that thousands of fans cross every Raiders home game is now closed. Harry Reid International also getting ready for the super rush of this Super Bowl, communicating with airports in past Super Bowl host cities to prepare. They are putting a special emphasis on the Monday after the big game as visitors are looking to fly home.
TSA is going to have extended hours at the checkpoints. Some of the concession options are going to stay open later or open earlier to accommodate those passengers coming through. Really just making sure that people are able to get here and flow through to the gate as quickly as they can.
Kim Passoff, Fox 5 News, local, Las Vegas.
NFL officials say they are taking steps to maintain public confidence in the integrity of this year's Super Bowl.
I think that there's a pretty comfortable appreciation for Las Vegas, and I think that the rules associated with gambling have been made clear to the players, the coaches, the league, the club personnel, everybody else, so much so that they should be they should be prepared.
League executives held a Zoom call today to discuss professional sports betting. They stressed that players, team personnel, and NFL employees have been barred from betting on NFL games. The 49ers and Chiefs have been barred from betting of any kind in the run-up to the Super Bowl. The teams aren't even allowed to visit casinos, even if they're not gambling. And fans will only be seeing 3 sports betting ads during the main Super Bowl broadcast.
Being mindful about the tenor, volume, and saturation of sports betting advertising and the degree to which you're integrating that into the live game.
NFL officials say limiting sports betting ads during the Super Bowl is part of an effort to encourage fans to engage in only responsible betting practices because they do understand there is growing interest in sports betting. Fox 5's Maria Janos picks up our Super Bowl countdown coverage tonight with a look at how sports books are planning for a busy buildup to game day.
It's a rematch of Super Bowl 54 in just a couple of weeks here in Las Vegas. The Kansas City Chiefs versus the San Francisco 49ers. Both rosters looking a little different than they did 4 years ago. But I got to tell you, as soon as this matchup was set, sportsbooks wasted no time putting up opening lines.
As soon as we knew that the 49ers were going to complete that comeback, we posted the Niners a 2.5-point favorite. At that time, the market had some 2s, some 3s, and from that opening post, it's slowly been coming down. and we're currently -1 right now on the 49ers.
But the line movement won't stop there. The books anticipate it to move to even money, which means there is no favorite. Both sides are equal across the board, with more money coming on San Francisco closer to game time. As for the strategy behind betting the Super Bowl, there are a few different approaches to take.
A lot of different strategies out there when you're betting the Super Bowl. So you look at the regular season stats. Look what base your play on how you think the game's going to play out. Is it going to be high scoring? Is it going to be a track meet? Is it going to be a defensive battle?
The most popular betting route to take during Super Bowl are the proposition bets. Those carry the bulk of the business for books at this time of year.
We're going to have over 500 propositions. So I would say about 67 to 68% of the bets are on the props.
There is no doubt that business will be booming at the books during Super Bowl. It always is, but operators are expecting a much higher volume since the game will be played here in Las Vegas.
We're expecting a record. The record was set just a couple of years ago, $179 million that was bet in the state of Nevada. Because we're the host city, we're expecting a few more VIPs, a few more celebrities, a few more high-end players than we've seen in other Super Bowls. So it's not going to surprise me if we surpass that record of $179 million.
If you'd like to be part of beating the record, or if the endless amounts of prop bets entices you, the Superbook is actually offering a prop bet contest. So whether you're betting sides and totals or prop bets or a combination of both, one thing is for sure, sportsbooks around town will not be sleeping during Super Bowl week. There will be so much action going on from the start of the game till the final minute. From the Superbook Westgate, Las Vegas, I'm Mariah Janos, Fox 5 News, local, Las Vegas.
NFL officials say they have been surveying fans since 2019 on their attitudes toward legal sports betting. While they're not offering exact statistics, they say the NFL has seen an increase in those who say they like and participate in sports betting. And you can head to our website to get ready for Super Bowl Sunday. We have extensive coverage on the countdown to kickoff at our website, which is westcoastwrap.com. We move on to another big story tonight. FBI agents say they have taken down an international drug trafficking ring with ties to the West Coast. Today, agents announced indictments against 19 people, all accused of conspiring to move narcotics from Mexico to Los Angeles, including cocaine, heroin, meth, and fentanyl. Authorities say once those drugs got to Los Angeles, a network of big rig truck drivers moved the drugs all across the U.S. and up to Canada.
This investigation began in 2022, and since that time, investigators have conducted numerous operations which resulted in a high score of seizures, including approximately 845 kilograms of pure methamphetamine, approximately 951 kilograms of cocaine, approximately 20 kilograms of fentanyl.
The FBI calls this bust Operation Dead Hand. They estimate agents seized between $16 and $28 million worth of drugs. They also seized $800,000 in cash, along with 4 weapons. In Oregon, Portland's fentanyl crisis has prompted a 90-day state of emergency by the city, county, and state. The declarations will commit existing resources to a unified response. A command center in downtown Portland will allow agencies to work together to prevent fentanyl use, reduce harm among people using the drug, and increase access to treatment. But there is no plan to add any treatment beds within the next 90 days.
We are in the process of analyzing the gaps in needed services across the state, not just in the region. And over the next couple of weeks, we'll be seeing the results of those, and there'll be a clear plan of how we organize current resources to get more beds online.
The health department will also be launching 2 public education campaigns on fentanyl. The owners of several LGBTQ bars in Seattle are denouncing what they call raids over this past weekend by the state's Liquor Control Board. Fox 13's Lauren Donovan has more tonight on the criticism state officials are facing.
That's a trigger, that's trauma, that's decades of trauma for our community.
On the Hill, famous for its rainbow flags and sidewalks, there's now an outcry for accountability. 2 LGBTQ nightclubs claim they were raided over the weekend. The Seattle Eagle on Saturday night, the Cuff Friday night. In this Instagram post, the general manager of the Cuff described what went down Friday as a dramatic showing, intended to intimidate and harass a historically gay club. They wrote about 8 enforcers showed up and made their presence extremely known. Among the group, police, fire, code enforcement.
Flashlights inspecting people's bodies, debating whether their nipples are offensive or not. Like, it's just absolutely unnecessary.
Kevin Cower recently opened Massive Club, a new nightlife spot for the queer community. He spent the last 15 years of his life working in this space.
Just getting like a text message, from the community being like, they're out, they're coming, like it sends you into this panic.
These were not raids.
Hot on the defense, Tuesday morning in Olympia, the state liquor board addressed the allegations head on.
And I can tell you, there is no crackdown on lewd conduct right now. There is no crackdown on gay clubs.
Saying there was no targeting. This past weekend, representatives stopped by 18 different establishments in total.
And depending on where they are, they're literally walking door to door.
But they admit things may not have been handled properly in what should be safe spaces. Though certainly the liquor board understands how it may have looked like it was a raid, reinforced by the fact there were some apparent lewd conduct violations based on how scantily clad folks were dressed.
No violation notices have been issued as of now, and there's some misunderstanding about that.
Club owner Kevin says the uproar on social media is a must-needed check on the enforcement teams. Kevin thinks their outrage has caught the attention of the liquor board, raising the question, should the state's lewd conduct law get overhauled?
The laws on it are so draconian, they're so archaic that it's like, if somebody has a loose tank top and their nipple is showing, that's illegal.
Wednesday in Olympia at 10 a.m., members of the LGBT community here in Seattle and allies plan to head south to Olympia. There, they'll be able to give their 2 cents directly to the liquor board during a public comment hearing. We're going to be following along and seeing where things go from here. For now, reporting in Capitol Hill, Lauren Donovan, Fox 13 News.
Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, streets buckling near a mudslide in Oregon. Tonight we'll show you how people forced out of their homes are coping as new storms threaten to complicate this situation. We'll also talk about your weather forecast, and we'll talk about the new storms that are headed toward the West Coast coming up. We will also tonight show you a retail theft bust worth millions of dollars. How police in Southern California uncovered this warehouse filled with stolen Nike shoes and other gear. Some people living along Oregon's coast say their houses are moving as the earth underneath them gives way, and some of them have been forced to evacuate for their own safety. Fox 12's Paulina Aguilar spoke to one resident who is keeping a close watch on his neighborhood's slow-moving mudslide.
This mudslide and this 15-foot crack in the ground is what's keeping residents from being in their home. We spoke with a neighbor who lives on this corner who says that he's the only one on this road who hasn't been ordered to leave. However, he has noticed that his house has moved a few inches because of this mudslide.
When we obviously woke up Saturday morning, the hillside had exploded.
Residents are being kept out of their homes because of a mudslide that erupted over the weekend. Alex Pasco has lived on 27th Street and Grand for the last 5 years and said the mudslide was scary.
Saturday was really terrifying because what was coming off the hill was liquid and it was fast. It would stop and then much more would come in short order, and it was almost constant, and we didn't know when that was going to stop. And since then, it's been much more of the mud actually isn't moving at all. It's all water, but then erosion is happening on the hill.
That's when the city came to assess the situation.
They basically immediately came down the hill as soon as they went up there, and they were like, everybody has to go right now, because it looked like the whole ridge was going to come down.
The city says the mudslide covers roughly 5 acres and the road serves 8 properties. They've ordered 5 homes within the slide area to be evacuated.
We gathered up our cats and as much as we could gather, and we left. left. Our main residence is, it's not advisable for us to be in it, although they are not keeping us out if we want to be in it.
Since then, Alex has been staying with relatives and monitors his property throughout the day. He says he noticed his home has moved about 3 inches, but says it's a relief to have more than one shelter on the property.
The outbuilding is safe for being in and sheltering pets, but that it's a place that, is comfortable to me and, comfortable to the animals.
Do you have an emergency plan?
I don't think I need one at this point, but my emergency plan is just to get down the hill as fast as I can.
The city says they did shut off the water and the gas as a precaution, but it's still unclear when residents will be allowed back in their homes. Reporting in Astoria, Paulina Aguilar, Fox 12 Oregon.
Well, people all across California are preparing tonight for another round of rain. In the Bay Area, crews in Santa Clara County were out clearing storm drains today and catch basins, hoping to reduce the risk of flooding. This area could see as much as 2 inches of rain tomorrow, and as much as a half-foot of rain is expected to come down in the Santa Cruz Mountains nearby. Officials say now is the time to check if you're in a flood zone.
You don't want to be in the middle of the rain, the water's rising and it's coming up to your garage door or your back door or something like that, and you need sandbags and you don't have them and you have to go get them.
Officials say people should also collect leaves around their properties or near storm drains to prevent water from building up. And it's a good idea to have an emergency kit all ready to go just in case there are power outages. Up in Alaska, they are seeing record-breaking snowfall. As of yesterday, more than 100 inches of snow has fallen in Anchorage so far this season. That's the earliest recorded date for the city to pass that milestone. These images on social media give you a sense of just how much snow has piled up in that area right now. When you look closely, you'll notice those mounds of snow are actually hiding buried cars, and there is a chance for even more snow later on this week and a whole lot of rain all across the West Coast. Let's bring in KTVU meteorologist Mark Tamayo, who is tracking another strong storm getting ready to swing across the West. Mark?
Hi there, Alex. Yeah, this is a potent atmospheric river developing. It's kind of the model showing you the vapor in the sky, the water vapor. And as you can see here, the focus is up in the Pacific Northwest, but you can see those brighter colors approaching the San Francisco Bay Area Wednesday. That will translate to some heavier downpours into the afternoon hours, eventually drifting down closer to Southern California, and they have rain in their forecast for Los Angeles for Thursday. So as a result, all these areas in green, we do have flood watches from Los Angeles closer to the San Francisco Bay Area and up toward Eureka as well. In the Bay Area, you can see the flood watch out. The winds will be a factor as well. Not only the rainfall, but some strong winds. In fact, a high wind warning for the Santa Cruz Mountains. We could have winds gusting to nearly 55 miles an hour. So here is the system itself. You can see that tight circulation out here in the Pacific. That will be linked up with some fairly strong winds, as we showed you here, in that continuous band of moisture. That is the storm that will be a big factor over the next several days. So Portland and Seattle, they have rainfall developing, especially by mid to late tomorrow afternoon. And then in Northern California, already some rainfall showing up right around Eureka. In fact, probably the strong part of the atmospheric river will be targeting extreme Northern California and Southern Oregon over the next day or so. This was the scene today in Seattle, where you can see all the cloud cover, some breaks in the clouds, a temperature of 58 degrees. Rain in the forecast for tomorrow, especially by mid to late afternoon. And then in San Francisco today, another mild day, 66 degrees, temperatures up above the average. But tomorrow, definitely the rainfall making a comeback. And in Southern California, this was Santa Monica, nearby Los Angeles, a very warm 75 degrees. So here is the long-range forecast model. It's picking up on the rainfall developing, as you can see, in a Wednesday and into Thursday, up in Seattle, up in Portland, for San Francisco, and extending down toward Los Angeles as well. Some off and on rain showers for Thursday and Friday for the Bay Area. And it looks like another system wants to approach the region. This could be on Sunday, so rainfall chances could be going up with more heavy rain and possibly some strong winds as well. Here's the forecast model, clearly showing you the measurable rainfall up in Seattle and Portland, but the bigger amounts you can see closer to San Francisco and Los Angeles as well. So here's the breakdown, as you can see, over the next 3 days. Multiple rain clouds for Seattle, San Francisco, some heavy rain developing tomorrow, off and on rain showers for Thursday and Friday. For Los Angeles, rainfall picks up into the Thursday forecast. As you can see, cooling temperatures for the Phoenix area with maybe some rain showers by Thursday. It's fairly quiet in Denver over the next couple days, and the pattern could be changing by Friday. But a lot of rain to track over the next several days and some more snow in the Sierra. So it looks like another atmospheric river, the main player in the forecast over the next day or so.
All right, yeah, it's going to be a busy week here weather-wise. Mark, thank you. House Republicans are pushing toward a key vote on impeaching Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. They accuse Mayorkas of not enforcing laws at the southern border. Some members of the House Homeland Security Committee believe Secretary Mayorkas is guilty of high crimes and misdemeanors. The articles of impeachment claim Mayorkas did not enforce immigration law and that he lied to Congress about the southern border being secure.
Secretary Mayorkas is the very type of public official the framers feared, someone who would cast aside the laws passed by a co-equal branch of government, replacing those with his own preferences, hurting his fellow Americans in the process.
Mayorkas responded to lawmakers with a letter saying problems at the border go back to before he took over the agency. Articles of impeachment for Secretary Mayorkas are expected to go to the full House for a vote sometime next week. Up next tonight on West Coast Wrap, a warehouse full of thousands of pairs of stolen Nike shoes, the multi-million-dollar retail theft bust, and a retired NASA space shuttle being moved into position for a unique exhibit. We'll show you the Southern California attraction that is getting a whole lot of attention even before it opens to the public. An Amtrak worker was seriously injured when a train slammed into a tanker truck in Colorado. This happened last night in Weld County, northeast of Denver. Authorities say that train was traveling from the Bay Area to Chicago when it crashed into a tractor trailer carrying milk that was crossing over the tracks. The impact caused the train to derail, but the cars remained upright. At least 2 other people were hurt in that crash. The crash is being investigated tonight, although authorities consider the driver of that tanker truck to be at fault. The pilot of a small plane was killed when it crashed into a busy intersection in the Bay Area today. This happened in Concord shortly after the plane took off from Buchanan Field Airport. That single-engine Vans RV6 collided with a car as it came down, injuring the driver. A man who works nearby tells KTVU he regularly sees this plane taking off from the airport, and he was among those nearby who heard today's crash.
Come up here, kind of does a little bit of turns and stuff like that, and kind of goes around here, and then kind of flies back down, and then there'll be, I'm not sure if it's the same pilot, it'll be like another plane or something like that, a couple different other planes that kind of do the same thing. Their engine died once, started it, engine died again, and then we kind of seen him kind of nosedive right down, so it was kind of a scary situation.
The Experimental Aircraft Association says the Vans RV6 is one of the most popular kit planes in the world, and it faces safety regulations similar to factory-built planes. The FAA and the National Transportation Safety Board are investigating exactly what caused that plane to crash today. $5 million worth of stolen Nike gear was discovered in a Southern California warehouse. That warehouse in Hawthorne, south of Los Angeles, was filled with thousands of pairs of shoes and other Nike merchandise. Police served search warrants at that Hawthorne building, as well as a location in Hollywood over the weekend. Officers arrested Roy Lee Harvey Jr., who's suspected of receiving, redistributing, and reselling stolen property. Well, NASA's retired space shuttle Endeavour is now in its final position at the California Science Center in Los Angeles. The shuttle was carefully hoisted yesterday, made to look as if it's just about to blast off. Museum officials say it's all parts of the vertical launch configuration, and they are authentic components of the shuttle system. Endeavour flew 25 missions between 1992 and 2011 when NASA's shuttle program ended. It will be, though, a few years before that display is open to the public, and obviously a lot of people anxious to see it in person. That does it for West Coast Wrap tonight. A reminder, you can stay up to date on all the stories we're covering at westcoastwrap.com, and you can stream our shows on your smart TV with the Fox Local app.